My name is Oya Gilbert. I am 55. I just had a birthday April 21st. I have multiple myeloma, which is an incurable blood cancer. Just wanted to tell you that I am in my 7th year since diagnosis, so I'm doing good. So that deserves a clap, you know. So I just wanted to start that part off first, but let me take you back to how this all began. So in 2015, I live in a very rural, predominantly older white community, and it's in the middle of nowhere, in the mountains somewhere. And I started experiencing what I would consider a heart attack. So I followed the protocol to that, called the ambulance, so forth and so on. Went to the emergency room. They told me I was having an anxiety attack. I never really heard about that. I didn't. It was like anxiety. He asked me, was I stressed and things of that nature? And I said, no, just regular stuff. And I even cracked a joke because I said to him, he's like, it's like, you know, something extremely stressful that is causing his anxiety. I said, well, hey, man, I'm black. I've had anxiety since I was 10, all the stress I've been through. And so we laughed about that, but in all seriousness, I wound up going to, he sent me to a neurologist, which didn't make sense when I came in with a cardio issue. And so then that quest began. I started calling them episodes. I started having issues of fatigue, back pain, things of that nature. And I had never been sick. I've never broken a bone. I've had one major surgery, which was an abdominal hernia. It wasn't even the other hernia, you know, it was and so I kept explaining to him, hey, something's wrong with me. I know something's wrong. But needless to say, months and months went by, ologist after ologist, zoologist, mixologist, I just went to all of them. For the fact of, because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me because I was getting more sick. The part you don't understand is it's frustrating to get tested and say, hey, you don't have this, that's great, but I'm still getting more sick. So as I move forward, I go through 3 primary doctors as they started labeling me as a hypochondriac and saying that I wanted to get drugs. But I specifically told them over and over again from the beginning, I've never been sick. I hate addiction, I hate medication, I don't take it. And yet they still thought that's what I was doing. So at some point, almost 2 years later, I'm sick every single day. I had a full-time job, I had my own business. I was very active, and I was raising my 2 boys by myself in the middle of nowhere with no family. So I knew I was going to die. There's no question about it. I can't explain to you what I was feeling every single day, but it was difficult to breathe, function, and everything. So I decided to call up my life insurance policy to get more money for my kids since I was going to check out. And it was the thing that we hate about insurance companies covering pre-existing conditions is what led to my diagnosis. It never was the doctors. They never figured it out. It's rules in place that caused me, it was the grace of God, that's what it was. So from that moment forward, I went into the process of trying to learn about this disease that I had never heard of. Multiple myeloma affects African Americans 2 to 1. You know, we always suck in the ratios when it comes to the health thing, but it affects us 2 to 1, and in the blood cancer space, it's the second blood cancer that kills us. Now, however, there is some positive news. If we get treatment, we tend to be more responsive to it than white counterparts. That's exciting, but we as black people don't even know about the disease. So in this rural areas, I will kind of co-sign what she said or piggyback on that. Through this journey, I was able to get on disability as well. And there's a funny thing about disability and Medicare and how it all works. I'm not really sure if it's designed to really, help those that are really sick. In real time, for all the things that I know about my situation, and I am a huge advocate. I won't even get into like my foundation thing. Like, I am engaged with it. And even with all that I know, I still face the same biased things that go on. I still have to advocate for myself. I had to advocate for myself about pain medication. the dynamics of asking for medication when we are in a situation where you are facing a terminal illness and you're trying to find comfort, all bets are off. Especially in the situation, the example I'll give you is I said, I need medication for my pain. He said, well, it's an addictive thing. We won't do it. And I said, well, how's it a problem when it's refilled every 30 days, but I refill it every 45 days? Where's the addiction? I've been on it for 5 years. Well, but what it was about was they didn't want to pay for it anymore. And just like she was indicating about Medicare and what I faced just recently, the reason why you can survive in Medicare is because you can get other assistance with it. Food stamps, help with your electricity, subsidized housing. But at a certain point, if you're on it long enough, you get into a range what they call you make too much money. And then you don't get the food stamps and you don't get all that help. But that's what makes that small dollar amount of Medicare, because trust me, believe me, it's not like that she said, it's not the wage I was used to. And so you start making decisions. I made those decisions just recently about taking my medication, my chemo medication. I had to make a decision when they told me it cost $2,000 a month for my medication. So what do you do in that space? But I happen to know folks that are gonna help me get through that. But what about the people that don't? Like, it's not about me. That's not why I'm here. It's not about me, it's about the people who can't speak for themselves. It doesn't have to be a rare disease. It's just the system, and we have to do something about that.